Congratulations to Demetrius Andrade on his victory tonight against Keeler and stopping him in the later rounds. Demetrius Andrade looked very impressive, and he fought freely with his Kung Fu style of boxing. So that being said, Demetrius Andrade looked tremendous, and I have to give credit as well to Keeler for actually having the heart of a champion. Yes, he was standing upright and was not moving his upper body at all. I mean, Professor Nim, words to him, he stated that even when Luke get hit, his head still be at the same place. Meanwhile, Demetrius Andrade, his head is always moving. He's always in motion. He fighting freely. So that being said, it was definitely a different class in between the two. But Keeler had the hell of a chin. He got cracked in the second round, and he got up when I thought the fight was over. And the fight went actually a lot of rounds up to the later rounds where Demetrius Andrade decided to get him out of there and get the job done and put icing on the cake, since Danny Garcia and both of the Swifts recently had tune-up bouts. However, they didn't put the icing on the cake like Andrade did. And they claim Demetrius Andrade is not a puncher, but he reminded me of round 2. If y'all ever played that game, I mean, the player throw haymaker all night. I mean, that was the way to win, right? So that being said, that's the version of Demetrius Andrade that I saw tonight and that I've been seeing lately. They claim they want to see excitement. Andrade is providing that. They claim they missing the character. Andrade is bringing that to the table. So the only thing is missing is the fights. And the Zone have all the talent. Picture PBC having all the talent, and they can't give Errol Spence fights. I mean, look at Errol Spence. The tables have turned, right, at his own division. Meanwhile, Andrade is with the Zone, but he cannot get the Canelo fight. Matter of fact, Canelo don't even want to speak to him. On the other hand, Gennady Golovkin turned down the fight. So did Saunders. You see him call them out. You see him even going outside of the box and calling out Charlo, even going as far as putting pressure on Eddie to offer Charlo an offer. So that being said, Andrade wants all the smoke, and unlike Gennady Golovkin, who's fighting a tune-up, his mandatory, instead of Andrade himself, or at least Deryachenko, who you promise you're going to give a rematch to, he fights an unknown fighter, and he's a 25-1 favorite. The same for Canelo Alvarez. He's looking to fight Murat in Japan. And Andrade is left to fight no one, because even Saunders turned down that fight in particular. So Andrade have to stay active, so they won't do him the same way they did Rigondeaux, when fighters actually moved up a weight to avoid him. And they were successful doing it. And it's sad to say, they are successfully doing it so far till this day to Demetrius Andrade. I mean, you got Saunders. He wouldn't fight Andrade unless he's on steroids that make you 10 times faster and stronger. On the other hand, Canelo already got busted for something, but he said Andrade is boring. Even though he over here like round 2, you won't even think he a boxer. You would think he on some Mike Tyson-ish. He went from make you miss your first 80 punches and you're going to change your game plan to everybody have a game plan till they get hit. So that being said, Andrade, the difference between him and Gennady Golovkin and Saunders and all these fighters like Canelo, who's avoiding the best, is that they are avoiding him. He's the main character that's being avoided. So he can't get these fights. So the best thing you do is stay active in case a fighter from the hopeless grows some cojones. Now, I believe the fighter that will step up to the table first is Charlo. Obviously, they have history. It was supposed to be the 4th quarter fight, their own version of Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford in the middleweight division. However, Canelo turned down the fight with Charlo and gave him his trap. On the other hand, Gennady Golovkin turned down the fight with Andrade. So that being said, of course, they're going to have to see each other. And maybe the legacy fight for Canelo Alvarez against the winner of that fight that Canelo have to face in order to justify his legacy, because that's going to determine if his legacy is a win or an L. Obviously, he been flipping M's and making them to W's, but he being very strategic And we all know there is no better businessman than Canelo Alvarez in the game as we speak. So that being said, Andrade and Charlo will be the last guys he planning on fighting, because obviously it's been 5 years and Canelo haven't even negotiated with Andrade, let alone fight him. So if it takes him 5 years to negotiate, my prediction is 2025, when they invent the car that could fly, that's when Canelo Alvarez is gonna fight another youngin in the game, or at least a guy in his prime, more so like Kovalev, who was out of his prime, just like Rocky Fielding, who the world don't know, or like these fighters like Murat, and the list goes on and so forth. But the main point is, Canelo Alvarez is the A side. He could make the fights happen. Andrade, he's looking for the smoke, but nobody pulled up to Smoke City yet. Charlo seemed to be on the way. Other than that, there's no hope other than these two fighters, who's already the best in their division, to face each other, since Canelo Alvarez didn't want to fulfill his dream of becoming undisputed champion of the world and fight Andrade. People say, oh, Canelo, he don't have to fight Andrade. Andrade didn't fight nobody. But that's beside the point, because last time I checked, Canelo Alvarez fought Smith for Andrade title at 154 when he was the WBO champion, and he vacated the strap. And when Smith won it, Canelo Alvarez automatically was interested in that strap, but he wasn't interested when Andrade was the holder of that strap. And it's not a coincidence, because it happened again at 160. Canelo Alvarez stated out of his own mouth that his goal and his dream is to be the undisputed and the first Mexican middleweight undisputed champion. And who was in the way? Demetrius Andrade. That was his last fight to be the undisputed fighter at 160. He didn't even have to fight Charlo at the time, because if he would have went straight to Andrade, they wouldn't have stripped him for not fighting Charlo. And Canelo said absolutely not. So we know it's more than that. We know what time it is. It's skill pay the bills, and real recognize real. So Canelo knows what time it is with Andrade and Charlo. So it's definitely not a coincidence that these two fighters from the coincidental list are the most avoided. So the murderers row fighters going to fight each other. That's Andrade and Charlo. And of course, the hopeless fighters going to fight each other, Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin. So that being said, subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumb about a second, don't, and listen to these casual fans / media. And if you're a casual fan and you want to be a hardcore boxing fan, all you have to do is attend the Akhi University for free. We have real-life professors like Professor Nim, who teach at the Akhi University on Split Decision every Sunday live. It's a session, it's a boxing debate / talk show. If you want to attend the Akhi University for free, all you have to do is click on the notification bell to get notified every time we post or go live on Split Decision. And of course, to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. But last and not least, I appreciate all my Akhis. I don't say that enough, but of course, follow my broski also, Lunatune Boxing, for the funniest boxing memes. If a picture says 1,000 words, his picture says 1,000,000 words. So follow my broski on IG and keep it a G, and follow me too at Akhi TV. And of course, cop some of the merch / drip. I mean, I even have something for the haters, Akhi pillow, so they could dream about me at night. However, all my sisters and Akhis, I got the cuffs to success and nothing less. And we're going to cheer to success. And of course, to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace, and we out here.